What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Shield Media. My name is Christian Corey, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing RU's baseball coach, Coach Cooner. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So today I'll be asking Coach a little bit about the RU baseball program and just general questions about the sport of baseball overall. So let's get started. First question, a personal one.
Sure.
What initially ignited your own passion and love for baseball, and how do you maintain that love still today?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think when I was young, I like to play a lot of sports. My dad was that way. He played college baseball and basketball, so he got me into that pretty early. Funny thing is I actually got out of baseball. I played it for a couple years and really didn't like it too much, so I took a year off. And I think that year off when I was, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, really got me missing it and back into it there. And even to today, I mean, I think as a collegiate player going through myself and now as a coach, it's just the best game. I mean, you have so much stuff that you have to deal with. You have adversity from the umpires, the weather, the other team, sometimes your own players. And you got to fight through that to get better. And you have to work individually yourself to get better, to get playing time. And within that, though, you still got to be able to play as a team to be successful. So there's so many different things in baseball that you have to do to be good at it. Very similar to what you have to do in life, in your job, to be successful there. And I think that's one thing that really keeps me going.
Yeah, exactly. Like they say, baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. So
that's true.
Next, how would you describe your own coaching style? Are you a Jim Leland? Are you fiery? Are you a Brad Ausmus? Are you laid back? How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit of everything at practice. I definitely like to have fun with the guys. At the same time, though, I think for myself personally, I tend to be a little bit intense. I want things to be done the right way, and when things are going right and we're doing things right and we're hustling, it's fun. We have a good time doing it. We get music playing and guys are joking around with each other. And, when we start to drift off a little bit too much into that, get carried away, trying to mess around, that's one, I'd like to bring it back a little bit there. I think very similar in games too. We like to have fun. Let's go play loose and play relaxed. But at the same time, we need to be doing the right things on the field there. I think that's kind of when the intensity comes out.
So next question is, what are the challenges you face today when it comes to recruiting ball players to play here at Rochester?
That's a great question. When we first came in, or when I first came in as a coach, a little bit of it was facilities. I mean, that's still a piece that we're working on today, and competing with the different schools in our conference in particular, different schools in Michigan having different facilities. I think one thing that we've combated the past couple of years, though, is the tuition costs. I mean, they're rising everywhere in Michigan and across the nation, and so we've seen a lot more players going to maybe junior colleges for a couple of years where they can develop, and it'd be a lot cheaper. So I think that's something that's really popped up and gained a lot of popularity. So we're kind of competing against that now, as well as local four-year schools too.
Yeah, because I was watching a video recently on college baseball, and a lot of these guys have to pay to play in college baseball. Absolutely. For U of M's, for Michigan State's, for Vanderbilt. Those big colleges that are really known for producing high-level baseball players.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are paying. Very, very few times you see a full ride in baseball across all levels of it.
Now, next question is, what areas of the ball club do you hope to improve on here for the 2022 season?
So it's funny that you asked that, because one of our big thing with the program is we talk about being champions, and that's in all aspects of our life. So, off the field, we're always talking about how we can improve as people, how we can improve in our professional life, in our spiritual life, academics obviously too. So it's funny that you ask it that way, because that's kind of one thing that's all encompassing for us is continually trying to improve in all those aspects of our lives outside of baseball. But yeah, specifically on the field, I mean, we are a very fast team. We should play good defense, and so we've kind of talked all year about being able to pound the zone with our pitchers and be aggressive offensively, swing hard and run fast. And I think that's something that we've done pretty well so far this year. So it's a continual improvement though.
Now, as you probably know, analytics are at the forefront when it comes to professional baseball.
Oh, yeah.
And it's starting to get integrated into the collegiate level. So the question is, how have analytics played a part in your coaching style and the decisions you've made here for the ball club?
Even at the small college level here, it's definitely making an impact. Now, obviously, we don't have the teams of people who can put that stuff together, and we don't have the resources to gather a lot of that information as well like they have at the major league or the high collegiate level. But for us, I'll tell you, like this year, it's been delving a lot more into other teams' stats for scouting reports, being able to put together trade charts where other players are hitting the ball on the opposing team. For us, if we want to delve into some heavy stuff, I mean, run probability say a guy in first, moving him over to second base? Are you going to bunt him? Are you going to try and steal? What are the percentages there if he's on first base with no outs versus second base with 1 out? A lot of different things that you look at, who's the hitter up, who's on deck, and those are just some pretty generic stuff that we're going to look at there. So, it delves into, you can get in batting averages and ERAs and all that stuff, but then even, catcher pop times your runner's speeds to second base. I mean, there's so many numbers that you can get in baseball, and, a lot of it helps. It's just those little things here and here that help you out. At the end of the day, you still got to, throw strikes and hit the ball and score runs, and sometimes I think we get a little bit too much caught up in the stats, trying to make these little tiny things win us games when it's, in reality, it's the big things. But there's definitely little things that can help you here and there, and even at the college level, it's becoming far more prevalent than it was even 5-10 years ago.
Do you find any of your players really interested in their own analytics, or do they just, I just gotta work on my mechanics, stay inside the ball, stay through the ball, or what have you, and work on my landing spot when it comes to pitchers, my release point, or, is it just that, or do some of these guys really are into their OPS or their weighted runs created plus and all that stuff you see on MLB Network?
Yeah. So it's funny because that's kind of where we're at right now. It's a lot of the guys that we've had now. I mean, when I was growing up, it wasn't so much that. So when I got into college, it was just getting there. A lot of the guys that we have now have grown up with that.
Yeah.
So now it's, as a coach's job, instead of just teaching the game and getting guys prepared for that, a lot of it now is finding a balance there because guys want to know about it. They want to know about their mechanics, and they want to break that down a ton. They want to know about their stats and all this stuff. And so it's finding that balance of, like the stats are really important, and this is really important, that's really important. We got to do video breakdowns of this, that, and the other thing. But at the same time, we still have to go out there and compete. Yeah. I think that's where, when we've been unsuccessful, that's always the question at the end of the game is, how are these stats, or how are my mechanics, instead of, how did I compete up there? And so it's a lot of balance about that now. Especially, these guys are 18 to 21, 22-year-olds. They're still learning, they're still growing into their most mature self. So you really got to grind to keep them on that right track of balancing those two things.
Finally, have you ever been thrown out of a game? Have you ever had to release your inner Jim Leland or Earl Weaver? Have you ever had to do that?
I can probably say I've never been thrown out of a game, although
really?
I'm not quite sure why I haven't on a couple of occasions. Yeah, we've definitely had some situations where I haven't been too pleased with the call or something, and I've let the umpire know, but never been tossed out, which I pride myself, and I hope I don't get too worked up with the umpires. They're doing their best job.
Yeah.
And language for sure is something that you cannot do, and I think I pride myself in not being that guy. But definitely the competitive side takes over from time to time.
Yeah.
And you want to have your players' backs and
exactly.
Put yourself in the best situation to succeed. And sometimes you get a call that you don't think goes your way, and it's tough and it gets you fired up.
Just a bit outside. I don't know. Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for the questions.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. All I got for today's video. Check out other news and articles on shieldmedia.com and our YouTube channel. And as always, I'm Christian Corey, and I will catch you guys later.